Some episodes may contain graphic content or sensitive topics, while all episodes will consistently feature offensive language and absurd speculations from two opinionated women on a spiritual journey just trying to figure shit out. Listener discretion is advised.
Hi, I'm Heather, and I'm here today with my co-host Sharon.
Hello.
Welcome to Hexhaven.
Well, I'm excited to record. I feel like we haven't really recorded anything in so long.
So one of our Patreon subscribers, Mondo G, reached out to us after hearing our sexy Jesus talk. And he encouraged us to look into Caesar Borgia. According to the myth, Caesar influenced modern depictions of Jesus Christ, and his likeness became the standard image of Jesus. Despite extensive research, there's really no historical evidence to support this theory.
Really?
Yes. In fact, images of Jesus were being created long before Caesar lived. So this is a total myth. Yeah. But there's a lot out there, so it's been like a myth for a long time.
Yeah.
Like if you were just to Google it, it comes up all the time, but all the sources say, like, this is not true, and, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, because I just really briefly, Googled it and, looked and saw that there was a couple articles, saw the picture, and was like, oh, that dude totally looks like the pictures of Jesus.
Right. But I feel like every man of, the olden times or, past centuries all looked like that, all bearded, I mean, they weren't trimming their beards all fantastically like men do today.
Yeah.
They weren't using conditioner. I mean, I feel like they all.
Yeah, most white people do look similar. You can't even lie about it.
Hey, I mean, so, although I was able to debunk this theory, it led me to discover that Caesar's father was quite a scandalous man. So he was considered a party animal, and he was a pope.
A pope that was a fucking party animal.
Yes, a pope. Yeah.
And how the fuck does that equate?
Well, I mean, like we've talked about before, there's some wild times back then.
Yeah.
Once I realized his father was a pope, there was a lot of misinformation regarding who his father actually was. A lot of sources said his father was Pope Alexander III, but I discovered that his father was actually Pope Alexander VI.
Okay.
Okay.
It was later in time then than we originally thought?
So, yes, Caesar was born later in time. He was born after Jesus.
Well, yeah.
Right. The Pope, the third and the sixth, they're not related.
They're not related.
No, because when a cardinal or bishop, I think a cardinal and bishop or an archbishop, I'm going to tell you, I'm not real fluid with the Catholic religion here, but yeah. I want to say a cardinal is also an archbishop, and then he becomes a pope. But they select their own names. And if you if you remember that conversation we had with Diana, and when the new pope came in, she had said talked about him picking his name and the name he chose and all that. And so then I kind of looked, because I'm always curious about everything, but so I looked up the most common pope names. What do you think are the most common pope names?
Well, the pope names that I know are Francis and Leo, and then I assume that John would be one, but I don't think there's been a Pope John in my lifetime. But that's just a super common Catholic name.
So the number one pope name is John. 21 popes have had that name, and the last time there was a Pope John was in 1963. So you're right, not within your lifetime.
Okay.
So then the second most popular name is Gregory, with 16 popes having that title. And the last time that was used was in 1846.
Wow.
I know, isn't that crazy? And then the third most popular is Benedict, and that is with 15 popes being named that. The last pope used it in 2013.
Okay.
And then there's a tie for fourth place with 14 popes using this name. Clement, which was last used in 1774.
Jesus.
I know. And Leo, who is our current pope's name.
Go Pope Leo.
Go Pope Leo. So, and then I thought, like, popes or men of the Catholic clergy weren't allowed to be married. So, how are they having kids? So then I had to look into that, because I guess married priests and popes existed in the early church.
Mm-hmm.
But mandatory celibacy of Roman Catholic priests was firmly established in the 17th century.
Okay, because I guess I never really thought about it, but like going back to like shows like The Tudors and
Oh, that was such
all
a great
those
show.
old-timey shows, like the popes in those shows and the historical ones are usually they were married and had kids and stuff, but I guess I never really put that together.
Yep. It was established in the 12th century, but Caesar was born in the 15th century. So his dad was quite the rule breaker. Like 3 centuries later, he's having kids. Yeah. I'm going to shift. I'm not going to talk so much about Caesar, but because I found the Pope kind of fascinating.
Okay.
You don't hear very much about a party animal Pope.
Right.
This is some crazy shit. So Pope Alexander VI is often referred to as a party animal due to his lavish lifestyle and numerous affairs.
Affairs with women, huh?
Mm-hmm. He ruled like a king, engaging in numerous parties and alliances to secure his power, and he fathered several children with mistresses.
Wow.
Yes.
So way rule breakers.
Yeah. His celebrations, including the infamous Banquet of Chestnuts, and whoa, wait till we talk about that. Holy smokes. It showcased his extravagant tastes and social gatherings. Alexander VI's indulgent nature made him a notorious figure in history, known for his hedonism.
Heathenism?
Known for his hedonistic behavior and lack of traditional religious observance. So hedonistic is like the pursuit of pleasure or sexual self-indulgence. So yeah, so he was a little hedonistic party animal pope.
He was a hussy. Let's call it for what it is.
Right. He was. Oh my goodness. So Caesar was born on September 13th, 1475 in Italy. His parents, so Alexander VI, his original name was Roderick Borgia, but then he was Cardinal Roderick Borgia. So he was born to his father when he was a cardinal.
Yeah,
He wasn't a pope yet. And his Italian mistress, Vannozza de Cattanei.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't speak Italian. I don't know how to say that. I'm probably butchering it. Vannozza.
Vannozza. That's like a name that rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, it rolled right off of mine. Yeah.
It rolls this fucking popes too. He's like,
Among
my little flower.
Alexander's numerous mistresses, Vannozza was his most favored.
Okay.
Their relationship started in 1470, which during this time, she was married to 3 different men. So she had 3 different marriages. I didn't look, and I'm regretting looking what happened. Like, did they pass away? Because I don't think divorce was really a thing back then.
No, and especially like in Catholicism.
Right. So I imagine they're men that are like passing away because, there's not health care.
Yeah.
probably like not the best work conditions when you are finding work. Like they don't have heavy machinery, stuff like that. So I imagine people are dying at a young age too, back in these centuries.
We were far less civilized. I mean,
Right.
obviously we're not very fucking civilized today, but I think that people were dying left and right yet at a very young age from like wars and, you know, protecting their homes and shit like that far more than today.
You know, and not to get off subject, but I was listening to the Hamilton soundtrack, as I often do because I really enjoy it. And remember, people used to count to whatever and then draw their guns and shoot.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you solve disputes.
Yeah.
You didn't go like to small claims court. You didn't.
They literally outlawed dueling in France.
Yeah. So if you think about like shit like this is happening in these centuries, probably more swords. I don't think the gun was invented yet. I don't know the timeline on that, but I imagine it was probably more like swords or something.
Yeah, for sure.
You know.
But like the other thing is, if you really think about it, men need women to stay alive. And back in the 1400s, women were home taking care of the children while the husbands were off doing whatever the fuck they wanted, you know? So
yeah.
I'm sure more people were dying of accidents. Sorry, men, but y'all are accident prone.
Right? Well, think of this. What if dude couldn't find his sword without the help of his wife? He would have died.
Yes, exactly.
He totally, shit, can't find my sword. Honey, do you know what my sword is? I'm about to go to battle. Like, so let's get back to that.
Yes.
So during the time that they had a relationship, she was married 3 times and she had 4 children with him.
Well, she had 4 children with the Pope? Or
with
he's
the
a cardinal.
The cardinal now, but
yeah.
yes, the ultimately Pope Alexander VI.
Okay.
Yes, so she had Caesar, which was born in 1475, which is the one that everyone thinks resembles Jesus or Jesus likeness is after him. Giovanni, who was born either like 1474 or 1476. There was so many, you know, one article would say one thing and the other would say another, so I'm not really
so far back in history.
Right. Lucrezia was in 1480 and Joffrey in 1482.
Joffrey.
Mm-hmm.
No, not Game of Thrones, Joffrey.
Yeah.
Fucking hate that.
So in 1492, the notoriously corrupt Cardinal Roderick was elevated to Pope Alexander VI, a position that he held until his death in 1503.
You say notoriously corrupt?
Oh yeah, we'll get into that.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, and it's wild because even his predecessors were like, oh yeah, he was corrupt, he was hedonistic, but he was a good pope. You know, and I'm like, but how did those two things go hand in hand?
Right.
Like the morality of the pope.
I mean, come on. You also have to think about the Catholic Church as a whole and all of the little boy molestation.
Oh, it's so gross. Oh.
I think many of them have lived by the holier than thou.
Oh, for sure. So he only legitimized his children after becoming the pope. He had pretended that his 4 children with Vannozza were his niece and nephew and that they were fathered by her husbands.
Come on, guy.
But then once he became pope, he's like, nope, these are my children because now it's okay because he's a pope.
Yeah.
I don't know that a pope has ever been dethroned technically or taken out of that role.
I don't actually know about that.
Yeah.
But I think that like a lot of royalty would write to the Pope asking for their bastard children to be
legitimized.
Legitimized, yeah. Oh, I shouldn't have said that probably, but that's what they call, you know, that's what they were called, and so they
were
were
bastards.
Yep. So he would grant certain families, depending on what alliances the church needed, he would do it for those ones and shit like that.
Yeah, for sure. So he had another mistress named Julia, and she was married, but she mothered.
Married woman, doesn't he?
Yeah, but she mothered his child Alexander. Even though he had this other mistress and this other child, he still loved Vannozza and his children with her. Caring for them proved the determining factor for his whole career. He lavished vast sums on them. Vannozza lived in the palace apartments, and the children lived between their home with their mother and the Vatican Palace itself.
Wow. Okay.
So it's like called the Vatican Palace or the Apostolic Palace.
Okay.
And it's the official residence of the Pope. But this building also like contains apartments, offices, private and public chapels, a Vatican museum, a library, and the Borgia Apartments.
Oh, so is this the Vatican today? Is it the
I
same place?
believe so. I think it is, but they call it the palace.
Right.
So I think it is the Vatican today.
Okay.
So he lived in the main quarters for the Pope, and then there was apartments that his mistress and his children lived in.
Right. So he just made. I wonder if those are still there.
The apartments, they are, and I will talk about the apartments in just a second because I did. I was like, ooh, there was apartments, like. So okay.
I suck at dancing, but me and Jay just had a conversation about, like, he's like, I might be bad at dancing, but, like, I could also just, like, not want to dance with you when we go out. And I was like, no, I would prefer you just dance. Like, even if you're not comfortable thinking that you're, like, a top-notch dancer, just dance anyways, because I like to dance.
Wait, you like to dance?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, and he does too, but he was saying, like,
He's
I suck at dancing.
a little about it. Oh, well, I think men kind of tend to be a little more, because I don't know why, maybe because dancing's perceived more as a feminine thing to do.
Maybe.
I am not a good dancer, but I will dance my ass off.
Same,
Like,
and that's what I'm saying.
I dance like nobody's looking. I don't care. I remember like being in my 20s and like on the weekends my daughter went to her dad's. Mm-hmm. We were 100% at an actual club where you danced. And I don't know that those exist anymore.
There's not many.
No, I mean we would go up to Milwaukee and just literally dance.
Yeah, there might be some in Milwaukee still.
Yeah, there might be.
But there's only one here, and that's the gay bar.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, like
and there used to be a ton when I was in my 20s.
Yep.
Like, yeah, it was so great.
Mm-hmm.
It was so much fun. I was a lot skinnier then too.
So was I. Shit.
Maybe that's the key. Is we need to start dancing more.
Right.
So he went on to have 6 other children with other women, but he never legitimized them.
Wow.
So he had 11 children, and he only legitimized the 4 that he had by Vannozza.
That's pretty shitty.
Yeah. It is shitty.
Did he have a wife?
No.
Why? He wanted to have why didn't he just have
because you're not supposed to be married as a pope.
Ah, that's right. It was already at the time he wasn't.
Yeah, you're not supposed to be married, but apparently you can sleep with married women and impregnate them.
Wow.
You know? Yeah, isn't that? It's just crazy shit. So the Borgia Apartments, you know, some people might say Borga, but I looked up like the Spanish way to say it because that's where he was from, and it's Borgia.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying it like that. A lot of people will probably say Borga or Borgia, depending on if you say it like Italian, but I'm saying it like the Spanish way.
Okay.
That I looked up. So the apartments are a suite of rooms in the palace adapted for personal use by the Pope, and the apartment was not opened up to tourists until 2019.
Oh my gosh, so like super recent.
Yes, so it said he passed away in 1503 and he was a pope until 1503. So no one used those apartments or did anything with them. Like no one lived in them. There were several years in the 80s, 90s that they started to preserve because he did these beautiful paintings in them. He commissioned artists. They did back then. You
Yeah.
You didn't have wallpaper. Someone painted beautiful murals on
Yeah.
your spaces and ornate tile and all that. So they went through this whole like restoration project for it for like historically, and then they opened it up to the public in 2019, which
Wow.
is mind blowing to
Yeah.
me.
Man, there had to be a layer of dust in those rooms.
500 years?
Yeah.
500 years.
Insane.
That's crazy, right? One of his first acts as Pope was to issue the Papal Bulls of 1493, which granted Spain the rights to the lands discovered by Christopher Columbus in the New World. He also sought to expand the Papal States in Italy, using his son Caesar as his military commander. He's granting Spain rights to the land because he's Spanish. And
Yeah.
so a lot of people in the religious realm didn't like that. They wanted everything like Italy, and they thought that he was having too much alliance with Spain.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so Alexander VI was notorious for his nepotism and corruption. He appointed his relatives to high positions, bestowed them with lands and titles, and used their power to enrich him. He also faced accusations of simony.
What the hell is that?
I had to look that up because I didn't know. So, simony is the act of buying or selling spiritual things, such as bribes for positions or money for spiritual healing. Yeah. Like if people say, like, my mom is dying, can you heal her? He'd be like, oh, yes, for 800 euro, I can heal her.
Wow, what a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
Alleged piece of shit.
Yes. So he also faced accusations of simony, murder, poison, and incest. Yes.
That's so much worse so quickly.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yes. And, he was accused of murdering just people that didn't agree with him, basically, or
Yeah.
anything that was stopping him from gaining more power, or someone that he had appointed to more power. Like all of his children, his children that he claimed,
Mm-hmm.
they were all in positions of power, like high power, I want to talk to you now about the Banquet of Chestnuts.
Okay. Super name.
This is the event that makes him a party animal. Okay?
Okay.
The account I'm about to tell you is from a diary that is kept in the Vatican secret archives.
Okay.
It became available to researchers in the mid-19th century when Pope Leo XIII opened the archive.
Okay.
This is a part of this diary here.
Okay.
On the night of the last day of October in 1501, so this is like 2 years before he died, because he died in 1503.
Okay.
Caesar arranged a banquet in the chambers of the Vatican with 50 honest prostitutes.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Party.
The prostitutes danced with guests, clothed and then naked, and after dinner they placed candies and chestnuts on the floor, and the prostitutes crawled on the floor picking up chestnuts. Like, how fucking degrading.
Wow.
How fucking degrading. He then awarded prizes to attendees that could perform the act most often.
So sex?
Yes.
So he gave people awards for how many prostitutes they could have sex with.
Yeah. And how many times they could come.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's
So then,
not what I expected, but they could have chestnuts.
later, William Manchester's 1992 book, A World Lit on by Fire, embellishes this story. It says, servants kept score of each man's orgasms, for the Pope greatly admired fertility and measured a man's machismo by his ejaculative capacity. After everyone was exhausted, His Holiness distributed prizes.
Wow.
Is
Wow.
that not?
God. The amount of semen that a man can make does not equal fertility, for one thing.
No. And if you're doing it frequently and often, there's going to be less and less of it.
Was this before or after penicillin was fucking...
I don't know. I'm thinking Aleister Crowley. Like, how many of these fucking people have chlamydia right now? Or gonorrhea?
They all left there with multiple STDs. Syphilis. Syphilis was really fucking big back like centuries ago.
Oh, yeah. I'm definitely penicillin was not a thing yet. Because Aleister Crowley was way after them.
1928.
Yeah. So in the 1900s. So they didn't have that. So and that's too another thing that people were probably dying young from.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I'm sure someone's death certificate out there says died from syphilis or some shit, you know?
A lot of them say syphilis.
Yeah, the Pope died in 1503 after a mysterious illness that sparked rumors of poisoning. He was buried in St. Peter's Basilica, but his tomb was later destroyed. He is one of the most controversial popes in history, and his legacy is still debated. After he had left, a new pope came on, and slowly, within years, like his family was asked to leave the apartments. I mean, what? You can't just live there anymore now, you know. And they really had to restructure like how they treated the Vatican because there's all these fucking people living in there, and they're like, no, no, no. And that's when they closed the apartments.
Okay.
And no one other than the Pope and his immediate, like, I don't know, council was able to like live there.
Right.
Maybe there was more popes that had scandalous stuff. I don't know. This is all I know about this one.
Was, but this is a crazy fucking story.
Yes.
You thought we were gonna find out about the original Jesus model.
So there is a painting called The Sin from 1880 by Heinrich Lasau, and it's depicting a nun having sexual relations with a man of the cloth, and it is believed to be inspired by the Banquet of Chestnuts. And girl, I'll have to send this to you because wow, wow, wow. This is
painting at work.
I did not Google this painting at work this time. This is a very, I mean, holy cow, this picture. And do you think someone actually hung this up? Here, let me see if I can save it. I'm going to try to send it to you.
Okay.
So you can see it.
I guarantee you that somebody hung that shit up. It's still around?
I'm sure it's like in a museum somewhere. I can't imagine that it wouldn't be managed. I'm going to send it to you right now. And your reaction says you just loved this photo.
I mean, I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't curious about the position.
Right? I'm like, wow. Wow. I know. So could you imagine going over to someone's house and that was like hanging up over their fireplace?
I would hang that shit in my house.
Would you? I don't know if I would.
In my room.
Maybe in my bedroom, but not in my living room, because it'd be kind of hilarious, I think. But I'm like, okay, that's a position. That's a choice right there. That's a love-making choice.
That Pope Alexander VI was very fucking lucky that there was no such thing as cell phones.
No jumbotrons.
Imagine, yeah, no jumbotrons.
So that is the story of Pope Alexander VI and his son Caesar.
Now, this makes me want to look more into the history of the Catholic Church.
You know, and it makes me think, well, because there's so much about him about the Pope that I didn't even go into. Like, I didn't talk about the times that he was accused of murder, poisoning, all the different, like, acts he, put in place. I just kind of skimmed over that, but there's so much more to him. And then I'm curious, too, like, he can't be the only Pope that's had people living in there with them.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. Like the White House, the president's family goes and lives with him at the White House.
Right.
So, like, to me, it would make sense if you had a family that they would come with you to live there.
Yeah, but the president's allowed to be married.
That's very true. So, Pope Leo isn't married? The new one?
No. No.
Okay. I wasn't sure if that was still real because I'm not hip on the Catholicism.
Yeah,
What?
I don't think any Catholic clergy, a pope, a bishop, an archdiocese or whatever, archbishop, whatever they're called,
Mm-hmm.
like none of them are allowed to be married.
Yeah?
Yeah. And nuns aren't allowed to be married.
Well, that I knew because God forbid that a woman find pleasure, you know?
Right. Yeah.
She's supposed to
Good
be married
Lord.
to Jesus. That's why they're not, the nuns are all supposed to be married to Jesus.
Right.
To God. I'm not sure on the exact, rules.
No,
But
I don't know about the rules on that either.
but
Shit.
like that is something that we should definitely. I'm sure that we'll touch on it 1,000 times with some of the topics that we're gonna cover, just because the Catholic Church has always shit on everybody. Maybe not so much anymore, but throughout history, they were the head of a lot of pain and entire like civilizations being wiped out. And
Oh yeah.
they were a huge part of major historical conflicts with England and France and Spain and like they're fucking wild. The history there has got to be right for the picking as far as
And you have to think about too is like sure there's things that we could historically identify and historians can identify, but there's always that layer of secrecy and cover up in the Catholic Church. So there's a lot of things that you may never get the answers to or fully know because everybody like skirts it under the rug, you
right.
know?
You know what else is in that secret vault?
I know. And I
Just
wonder if that Pope like regretted letting people in there to expose these things. But I mean at that point it was like 400 years old. So I mean it may reflect badly on the Vatican, but not necessarily any popes in succession of him, you
for
know.
yeah. Wow. That was the wild one.
It was. I was like, wow.
That banquet of chestnuts. My jaw is dropped. I would not expect some shit like that to have gone down in the Vatican.
No, no. Honest, I wanted to look up too. I didn't think of it. Prostitutes. Like, what do you think an honest prostitute means?
That's just what they used to call them.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure. Oh, either that. I did heart that message. I did heart the picture.
No, you didn't like it. You loved it.
I hearted it.
You hearted it. I mean, all of a sudden, bing, my phone had a heart, and you're like, wow. And I was like, what?
My algorithm is going to be fucked now. It's a paradoxal, as it suggests, a contradiction in terms. Yeah. It's a way for them to literally be more degrading.
Oh, okay.
Prostitution, by definition, involves the exchange of sexual service for money, which is a transactional relationship. The concept of honesty typically implies truthfulness and integrity, qualities that may not be directly associated with the transactional nature of prostitutes. So
Wow.
yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't know if it meant like they were considered to be cleaner or
Yeah.
something. Like they were high class call girls versus street hookers. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know if
What
that's.
probably means is that they are the prostitutes that the Vatican deemed worthy of having sex with.
Oh, yeah, because they wore their crosses and said their 3 Hail Marys, right?
Yeah, they weren't going to say they went down to the local brothel and picked up everybody for euros or whatever, you know?
Right. Like, come along, ladies. Let's head on to the Vatican. You're going to pick up chestnuts.
But it also, I mean, the other thing, I guess I didn't really think about this, but like in like the French court, they had women that were like high class, I don't know what you would call them, like ladies in wait, that would be for sex, like around castle and shit. So I'm sure they were getting bitches from different countries and shit.
Right.
Sex trafficking before they even knew what it was.
Well, and I wonder how much of it was truly them getting money. We know as a modern day, like a chick on the street
Mm-hmm.
hustling for money. Was it that, or was it, someone from a poverty-stricken family that gave their daughter to someone, which you're right, sex trafficking.
Yeah,
But
it's been honestly a mixture of
I
both
mean,
kinds of scenarios because some of those ones that you would see in like the French court and the English court and shit, I mean, if you didn't treat them well, they weren't slaves. They were there by choice, you know? It's just
right,
what they chose. That's how they made their living, you know?
right, yeah. Ugh. I just know even in the 1880s, and if someone was maybe not as rich and they had lots of children, they would send like their, you know, 12, 13-year-old kids to other families to be the butler and the maid for
Yeah,
these other families. So your young kid is just living with a completely different family and making like $2 a week. It's fucking crazy, man.
yeah.
I'm glad we don't
Yes.
fucking live that way
So,
anymore. All right, you got anything else for me, girl?
nah, I don't think so.
All right.
Alrighty. Well, you have a good one. Then.
All right, you too. We'll talk soon.
Yep.
All right,
Bye.
bye.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Hex Haven. If you enjoyed our content, please consider becoming a supporter on Patreon.
We appreciate your support, and if you have any topic suggestions, please feel free to share them with us at hexhavenpodcast@gmail.com. We'll see you next time.